modern times requires evidence-based allegations, or keep them merely as allegations, not as statements of facts?
Or the statement was a fraud.
Yeah. Okay. And then we have another brother of a similar kind. His name is Girish. On the website he asks, only Muslims are interested in the crap of Dr. Zakir Naik. If you wanted that, you can better watch it on YouTube or some other channel. Why do you expect NDTV to allow him to lecture and bore the rest of the audience?
That you have to ask NDTV, why did they call me? If they didn't want to hear my crap, why did they call me? As someone said, maybe to increase the TRP or to increase the viewership. And the first party said that non-Muslims are interested in hearing me. I'm sorry, I disagree with that. For most of my talks, what we have in public, approximately 25% to 1/3 of the audience are non-Muslims. And that is the reason when you say in the question and answer session, we only give opportunity to non-Muslims to ask. And these non-Muslims, you can interview them, they have been living, and the non-Muslims know them. So it can't even be planted like the way they have in the talk shows. So that's how open we are. And even the viewership of the Peace TV, just for the knowledge of the non-Muslim, that 1/3 of the viewers of Peace TV are non-Muslims. Not only in India, in fact throughout the world, alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah, Dr. Zakir. A final comment before we take a break, or any questions if any brother here would like to put forward to Dr. Zakir on this. Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Brother, don't you think we are showing too much discomfort after this program and making the skeptics happy with this? I mean, I believe that you can pull it off and you can make many more opportunities after this.
That's a very good question. That aren't we overdoing it? Isn't the overreaction by us to do such a show? We'll have many other opportunities. I partly agree with you. And that's what some people said, that don't do the show. But they were more in favor. So doing this show is not mainly regarding NDTV, this show, We the People. We the People and Barkhadat are insignificant for me. I do agree with you. Don't misunderstand that this show is done only about NDTV and Barkhadat. Impossible. If this is your analysis, I agree with you totally. It's a waste of time. But this show mainly is exposing in general what talk shows are. That's the reason if you realize that the earlier 45 minutes, we didn't speak about NDTV. It is the audience which is asking me. If they ask, I have to answer. So basically, NDTV per se is not what is important. It is to let the public know what talk show is about. And since this program was aired recently, we find many questions coming on that. What I would request that even if public ask in general what talk shows are, it's important. So here what is it? That we are having specific time on that issue. Though I have spoken about media, but normally when a person poses me a question, the question answer session, the answer can't be for more than 3, 4 or 5 minutes. Here we have a couple of hours to speak about it, post-mortem it, and discuss it. So it's very important that the main purpose of this show is to let the people know what goes behind the scene. And I'm sure, if you're not a man of the media, do you know that by editing, if I take your TV interview and I take your comment and I edit, as I mentioned earlier, you too would feel the slip of the tongue, which maybe before the show you weren't aware of it. Were you aware that a portion can be cut? You are aware editing is done. But even if I take your interview, you would be shocked and you will think that it was a slip of the tongue when you say that, if you disagree with George Bush, I'll make you feel as though you're agreeing. So these things, if examples are given, this is not part of the show, not part of NDTV. I gave a couple of examples of NDTV, but generally what happens behind the scene. So the main purpose of this is not overdoing it, is to expose the truth behind the TV talk shows.
Jazakallah, Dr. Zakir. We continue with our displeasure, discontent, distress. These kind of comments continue, a few before me now. We have Shabbir Ghani saying, shame on NDTV and Barkhadat, such a biased show. Shumaila Siddiqui says, I mean, show. The show was useless. Sami Imtiaz says, I have and keep telling that Barkhadat in her program is always trying only one thing, that's to project herself. She is devoid of any intellectual material, nor do her show offer any intellectual appeal. Masroor Ashraf says, agree with you. Over the years, Barkha has hogged the limelight. She has become more arrogant. I'm starting to hate NDTV because of her. I hope Prannoy Roy is reading these comments. Nadia Jamal says, I was your fan till yesterday, Barkha, but not anymore. After watching We the People yesterday and not letting the Islamic scholars speak who hold a thorough knowledge of Islam, let me clear the misconception about Islam. It is not the religion only for Muslims, but for whole mankind. I would advise you to read and do a thorough research before conducting shows on Muslims and Islam. On this note, we throw open the floor for questions from our brothers here. Any comments? Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum, Zakir bhai.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Zakir bhai, you are a media man. It would be interesting to know your perspective on why the media, not only in India, but all over the world, take so much pleasure in maligning Islam. What are the forces that compel these people to malign Islam at every given opportunity?
The question regarding why does media enjoy or why does the media malign Islam? Because, as you're aware, that Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world. And the reason they want to malign is because it is a very good way of getting high TRP. For example, you write a book against Islam and high chance it will become the bestseller. Similarly, you have programs against Muslims and your viewership will increase. Because today Islam is the fastest growing religion. And that's the reason the more the people malign Islam, these people who don't like Islam, they want to promote it. So that's one of the major reasons I feel that the media also loves maligning Islam, so that they can benefit from the viewership. Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Shah Rukh Khan is boastfully proud of being a Muslim. He even said in the program that every moment he remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this respect, what message, what advice would you give him so that his life becomes more meaningful for this world and the hereafter? And secondly, he happened to say that if his children, he won't want to teach in a stricter Islamic way. So, what is this stricter Islamic way teaching, and then what kind of values may be imbibed in the children so that they get the Islamic value in them?
The best suggestion I can give as far as for a person who says that he thinks of Allah always, the best I can say is that if he reads the translation of the Quran. He said he has read the Quran in Arabic, he has read it in English, but if he keeps on reading Quran and makes it a part of his daily life, because the glorious Quran is the most positive book in the world. It's a proclamation to humanity. It's a fountain of mercy and wisdom. It's a guide to the erring. It's hope to those in despair. It's a solace to the suffering. And it's an assurance to those in doubt. I feel if a person is attached to the Quran, that's the best guide that he can have. As far as he mentioning that he wants his children to learn Islam, and that's good, alhamdulillah. And it's nice of him to say that he wants his children to learn Islam. But he's a little bit skeptical that not the Islam which is followed by certain Muslims who he feels may be going to one extreme or one excess. So the best, what I feel, as far as the young generation is there, we should talk to them Islam with reason, logic and science. Islam is the most scientific religion, it is the most logical religion, and it is a religion which has the solution to the problems of humankind. So if you explain Islam in the right way, inshallah the youngsters, and that is the reason today we find that the younger generation, they are coming closer to Islam even than their parents.